The attack on Ismail Haniyeh is a deep embarrassment for Iran. The fact that Israel was able to kill him in the capital city of Iran the day after he met with the new incoming Iranian president, and that Iran was unable to stop this. Let's recall what happened in the span of a few hours. Israel has targeted a senior leader of Hezbollah in downtown Beirut, and then it has assassinated one of the senior leaders, if not the senior leader of Hamas in Tehran. This is going to inevitably force Hezbollah and Iran to respond. How they respond, I think, is going to be very important, because it's going to be a much more vociferous and robust response than anything that we've seen from Iran and Hezbollah to date. And I think one indication of what we can expect from Tehran and Hezbollah can be explained if we go back to just a few months ago. In mid-April, Israel launched an attack on Iran's embassy compound in Damascus, killing 7 senior Republican Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps leaders. Iran responded by sending roughly 300 drone and missiles toward Israel, most of which were intercepted. But Iran did that to send a message that it's no longer going to tolerate these types of brazen attacks on its senior commanders and its allies in the region. So what we've seen in the last 24 hours roughly is a ratcheting up of tensions between Israel and Iran. And I think the Middle East at this moment stands on the brink of a wider regional war. That's a good question. I don't think these recent events in Beirut and in Tehran are going to fundamentally change regional alliances. I think what we're going to see from the pro-American Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, and its allies in the region, is very much more of the same that we've seen since October the 7th. Publicly, these regimes are very susceptible to public pressure and deep anger over what's happening in Gaza, which many people around the world, especially in the region, view as a case of genocide. And they're very upset. People in the Middle East, that is, in the Arab and Islamic world, are very upset that Arab states and Muslim rulers have done literally nothing to help the Palestinians. Saudi Arabia and the Emirates and other Arab dictators are going to be very conscious of public opinion. So they're not going to want to do what they privately believe, and that is actually support what Israel has been doing in terms of hitting Hezbollah leaders and Hamas leaders and attacking Iran. The private preferences of Arab dictators actually line up very closely with what Israel wants and has been doing in the region. And we saw an indication of that over the last few years in the context of the Abraham Accords. So privately, these Arab dictators are going to be siding with Israel, celebrating the attack on Hamas and the attack on Hezbollah. But publicly, they can't say that because they lack political legitimacy. They know that they're dealing with publics that are very upset over the situation in Gaza, but also the broader situation in the region that is characterized by deep and expanding authoritarianism, economic misery, poverty, etc. So that's how they're going to play it. Turkey is going to, I think, do what Turkey has always done, be very critical of what Israel has done, send a message to its ally in Washington, D.C. that the United States has to rein Israel in. Just the other day, President Erdogan was saying that Turkey was going to intervene in the war in Gaza should Israel invade or try to put troops into Lebanon. So this is going to, I think, put the Turkish government on notice. It's going to be under its own pressure from its public to stand up to what will be interpreted in the region as further Israeli aggression. And that's how I see it. Well, the United States and Europe, the European Union, is going to be doing exactly what we have seen it do over the last 10 months in the context of war in Gaza. Strongly support Israel, increasingly be critical of Israel's violations of international humanitarian law, call for restraint. But as this war between Israel and Iran expands, the West is going to be solidly on Israel's side. It's going to defend Israel. It's going to send more weapons to Israel, and then it's going to call for restraint. This will be most clearly, I think, evident in the United States, where both political parties are strongly pro-Israel. But at the same time, I don't think the Biden administration wants to see a regional war expand. But I think Washington has to pay, I think Washington and the U.S. policy is a big part of the problem that we're seeing today. It's not a coincidence that after Benjamin Netanyahu visited Washington, D.C. last week, where he received 61, I repeat, 61 standing ovations in the U.S. Congress after 10 months of war crimes, crimes against humanity, and a potential genocide in Gaza, that he is going to interpret his visit and the meetings that he had with senior American officials on both sides as a green light that he can do whatever he wants in the region. So I think that's what's happening. I think on the American side of things, the United Nations is probably going to have several meetings to try and deal with this expanding crisis, but I think nothing will happen in the UN Security Council because it's effectively divided between the United States and Europe on the one side, and Russia and China on the other side, which will be very critical of what Israel has done over the last 24 hours. Well, now that Iran has lost, well, let me rephrase. The attack on Ismail Haniyeh is a deep embarrassment for Iran. The fact that Israel was able to kill him in the capital city of Iran, the day after he met with the new incoming Iranian president, and that Iran was unable to stop this, humiliates Iran before its own people, before its allies in the region. And so Iran is going to have to respond. If it doesn't respond in some very robust way and in a commensurate way to the provocative act that took place roughly 6 or 7 hours ago, then it will invite more Israeli attacks. So Iran is going to respond, and it's going to respond in a way that I think is equal to or beyond what it did in April. And then that's going to sort of produce a back and forth escalation, because then Israel is going to have to respond to Iran's response, and there's no end in sight. Things can quickly move from there to a broader regional war. I suspect Iran is going to call on its allies in Iraq, its militias, to hit American targets. I suspect the Houthis in Yemen are going to step up attacks on international shipping. This is going to have effects on the global economy. I just woke up about 20 minutes ago, and one of the news items I saw is that the price of oil has gone up by $2 per barrel. I suspect that's going to go higher. And then there could be, depending on the loss of life, demonstrations of outrage over what Israel is doing in the region within the Middle East. But that remains to be seen, because most countries in the Middle East are living under brutal authoritarian regimes where people are not allowed to demonstrate and express their opinion. But it's going to increase, I think, public anger, because the way this is going to be read in the region is that the United States and Israel are completely out of control. that they observe no limits whatsoever, and they'll do whatever they want to the people of the region. Look what's happening in Gaza over the last 10 months. These are American-made weapons that are falling on the people of Gaza, and now Israel is going around the region bombing different countries. And so that's how it's going to be read within the Middle East at the popular level, not the elite level. And it's going to raise political temperature, leading to greater regional destabilization. We don't know how this is going to play out. It really depends on how long this war lasts and how many people are killed at the end of it.